What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more. You guessed it, r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And just a huge thank you to each and every one of you for being here. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much. Someone the other day was telling me in the comments that they actually shout the intro at their boyfriend. I love that. And with that being said, let's just get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for defending my boyfriend when my friends called him creepy? So I, 28 female, got into a little fight with my friends during a video call, and I just want some outside perspectives. Pretext, I've been with my boyfriend 25 male for a little over 2 years now, and I'm perfectly happy in our relationship. I was on a video call with a few of my friends, ranging from 28 to 31 female, and one of my friends 31 female was complaining about her husband's 35 male attitude towards menstrual products. Apparently, the dude absolutely refuses to get her pads or tampons, and they got into a fight the other day when she left a used tampon in the bin. We were all trying to support her in her issues, since that has to suck being in a relationship with someone like that. I was the only other person in the relationship, so she asked me if my boyfriend is like this, and if it's just a man thing. So I told them my boyfriend is completely fine with all that. He grew up being the only male, father bailed, so 3 sisters, his mum and him, and even buys me more when notices I'm running out. Well, they all started attacking him, saying they thought he was being creepy for paying enough attention to buy me more products when he notices I'm running low. Things like, oh wow, I thought he was an okay guy, but now he just sounds creepy. And wow, major creep vibes, I barely pay enough attention and oftentimes need to run to get more myself. To say the least, I was pretty confused. So I shot back, so it's creepy to have an attentive SO. He's the one who mainly does the shopping. I don't have a license, and I personally appreciate that he does, since I also forget sometimes. You're wildin', maybe you need to find better men in your lives. We kept arguing for another 30 minutes, them still thinking my boyfriend's a creep, and it's one thing if I ask him to buy me more products, but that if he goes ahead and just buys me what I need is creepy since, why is he paying so much attention anyways? To answer that question, it's because I keep my products in the same place we keep our toilet paper, so he probably just checks if I need any more. I just don't know anymore. Is it creepy? I just appreciate it. Am I the arsehole? I don't know, I was getting some serious sort of jealousy vibes in this story, that they're jealous that, you know, you have a more attentive boyfriend. That's all I'm getting, because anyone who finds that sort of stuff creepy is just like, I don't know. I don't even have words for it at this point. We've read so many of these stories. I just find it weird that your friends think it's creepy. Why do they think it's creepy? I would have just called them out and said, why would you think that's creepy? And you know, I've had this sort of discussion with friends before if they pick up like women's products if needed and that sort of thing, just based off these stories. You know, we occasionally have these stories based around, have these chats about these stories. And this has come up before. And one of my friends said, yeah, I buy them, like absolutely casual, no, just straight out of nowhere. Yeah, I buy them, because he goes round because he does the shopping too. And he treats the house like pretty much like a warehouse. He goes round checking stock. 14 tampons. Yes, we need some more of those. And this kind of behavior should be absolutely normalized. It just needs to be, right? But external outcome says, not the arsehole, it's not creepy at all, it's thoughtful. Absolutely. And MM172 says, not the arsehole, your friends need to make up their minds. Do they want period supplies treated as something that men should never have to go anywhere near, or do they want them normalized? Because putting them in the same category as, oh, we're running low on toilet paper, I'd better pick some more up, is far more in line with the latter. And that is so true. And Judge Judd, am I the arsehole, says, still not the arsehole, but making a secondary judgment post because a repressed memory just resurfaced. A long time ago, my wife had a yeast infection, ew, and she asked me to pick some cream up for her when I was at the store. I protested loudly, but like Sarge said, when you're deep in the shit, somebody has to shovel it, and my wife wouldn't stop with that girly whining, so that shoveler was me. Charlie was waiting for us at the feminine products aisle. As soon as my testosterone-laden foot crossed the border, Rite Aid's assistant manager raised the alarm. I almost couldn't see the Vagisil through the smoke grenades. The pink machine gun nest made a run for the 7-day suicide. I had no choice but to order the company to feint towards the 3-day. While I snuck in to pick up the straggling 1 day they left unprotected on the flank. I alone made it out. Freedom was in my sights, but the cashier called me before The Hague to answer for my crimes against masculinity. I waited for her to look down at her nails. Girls, am I right? And I escaped to Argentina. Months of trekking through the jungle and Mesa later, I was able to tunnel under the wall back into the USA to get my wife the relief she needed. But it was too late. Another more manly man had taken her from me. I'm now heavily medicated to protect me from the flashbacks, but still, they creep in when I never expect it. No, wait, that never happened. I went to Rite Aid, picked out a box, they took my money, and I drove home to provide my wife something she needed, because I'm not a goddamn child. You win the comment for today, my friend. Now, what would you do in this situation if your friends were bashing your boyfriend or husband and saying, you know, he shouldn't be buying you feminine products and it's creepy for him to be thinking about them this way? Let us know in the comments below. And our next story is from SSC Reddit. Am I the arsehole for going a little Karen and possibly getting a DoorDasher fired in the midst of a pandemic? I placed an order for food with DoorDash, and after it was 30 minutes late past the delivery time, I called the driver. In broken English, she said the line at the restaurant was an hour long to pick up food. I gave her the benefit of the doubt and waited another 30 minutes. I called her again after it was an hour late and she said, "Okay, open the gate for me." I do not live in a gated community. When I tried to explain that to her, she frantically said, "I have to go home, I have to go, sorry," and hung up on me. She then texted me and said, "Sorry, not my fault, problem restaurant." Poor grammar, I only bring this up because I don't think she knows how to use the app, communicate her issues with me, etc. I responded, "I will be reporting the issue with DoorDash." I called DoorDash to get a refund on my order and would not have filed a grievance against her, except while on hold, I received a call from an anonymous number claiming to be DoorDash, in a male voice with the same accent. The driver had someone call me and fake a refund. I confirmed this with the real DoorDash who was on the other line. So I asked for an official incident report to be filed against her. Look, I know what she did was stupid and dishonest, but considering that most people who do this line of work are hard up for money, we're in a pandemic, and I'm a very comfortable upper middle class person who can afford takeout. Am I the arsehole for getting super Karen and filing a complaint? Now, in my opinion in this one, this isn't Karen behaviour. This isn't entitled behaviour. You're not acting like a Karen to me. This person is acting incredibly weird and shady in my opinion for what they're doing. To have someone else call you and then pretend to be the company is absolutely, shitty behaviour. So I think you're totally right to call them out for that. And seeing as they were on the other line anyway, and I'm assuming DoorDash is like our equivalent to the UK's equivalent to like Just Eat and Deliveroo and all that kind of stuff. And I've had some dodgy deliveries in the past myself, and I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt when food is late and things like that. But in this case, they tried to mess you around. So you're totally right in what you did. But Roman's mummy says, "Not the arsehole. This is a very weird situation, and this woman shouldn't be doing DoorDash." Sweet as Sin says, "Not the arsehole. A lot was already wrong, but once they called you pretending to be a superior, they really crossed the line into fraudulent territory. Sorry you were put in this position." And Lemon Paloma says, "Not the arsehole. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but we're still expected to do our jobs. We can't just use the pandemic as a blanket excuse for every situation in which a person screws up. People should be accountable for their actions. If she couldn't pick your order up for some personal reason, then she should have cancelled through the correct channels herself instead of leaving you hanging. The first issue, she failed to do her job, something you were paying her for. And the bigger second issue is that after failing to do her job, she had someone to call to scam you. That's just insane behaviour. I understand your guilt around privilege, but you did nothing wrong here. Besides, if they did this to you, they might be doing it to others. Not okay." And Tulip says, "Not the arsehole. You didn't go Karen. You were not entitled or threw a tantrum to get your way. Filing an incident after waiting over an hour and getting a fake call was very justified." Now, what would you do in this situation? Would you feel sorry for this DoorDasher, or would you think, yes, what they've done in this situation is incredibly wrong, and then report them? Let me know what you would do in the comments below. And our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for arguing with my brother's wife after she announced her pregnancy at my daughter's birthday party? Hi, I'm a 37-year-old mum. First off, let me start by saying that my 13-year-old daughter Maya was suffering from blood cancer, and it was incredibly hard on her because of how weak she was. We'd seen some pretty awful days. I was exhausted, I had zero strength to handle it. It was just me and my husband doing everything. My parents themselves had been dealing with health issues, but my brother and his wife only visited a couple of times and that was it. My brother's wife made some backhanded comments about Maya's health/look while Maya was struggling. Maya cried twice because of her insensitivity and lack of consideration. We kept our distance from her and my brother and focused on Maya. It's been nearly over a year now and Maya is in good health and I'm so thankful for that. Last year, unfortunately, we didn't get to celebrate her birthday due to circumstances, but this year, her grandparents said they wanted to celebrate her birthday at their house. I agreed. Maya has a wonderful relationship with her grandparents and I knew she'd want to go celebrate her birthday with them. My mum invited family members. My brother and his wife were already there since they always visit. Things were going great. Family members showed up with gifts and more sweets and also took pictures. However, once Maya started opening her gifts, my sister-in-law got up while my brother was asking for a minute because he said they had something to announce. By the look on his wife's face, it seemed like it was planned. My sister-in-law announced that she and my brother were expecting and everyone started congratulating her and hugging my brother. I was standing next to Maya and I noticed she was uncomfortable. Sister-in-law basically stole my daughter's birthday to announce her pregnancy, even though she could have picked another day. Maya seemed upset until the party was over. She didn't even open some of the gifts as everyone else was sitting and talking to my sister-in-law. We left an hour early and I got home, I called my sister-in-law and asked her why she thought it was okay to ruin my daughter's birthday and crush her spirit after having been through so much that this party was needed. I basically lashed out at her and told her she could have picked another day, but she pulled the whole family was there so I couldn't miss the chance nonsense. Maya stayed in her room after that and she even refused to look at the pictures we took. I got into an argument with my brother, telling me I shouldn't berate his pregnant wife and scold her like that. He said she didn't do anything to me, so I needed to apologise for being mean and rude to her for no reason, but I refused and turned my phone off. Everyone please understand that I'm not in the USA. I've already mentioned this multiple times. And I imagine that last line is going to be all about COVID and stuff like that, and is it appropriate to have a party? But let's just put that to one side for now, because we could tackle that with most of these stories, right? But let's go to the actual matter at hand here, and sister-in-law. Yeah, it's a piece of work. Who does that? Who thinks that's the right thing to do, the right time to announce it, when they know what this girl has been through and this is her first party since? They must know that this is a real special occasion to get them together. So to stand up in the middle of someone else's special day and announce your one, you must know what you're doing, seriously. It's so frustrating. So I think you're absolutely in the right to call this person up and call them out for their behaviour. I mean, you didn't do it in the party, which is fair play to you for doing that, because, you know, a lot of people would have called her out right there and then and said, you know, this isn't a good time to be doing this. But Redoubtable South says, not the arsehole, you never steal another person's moment to announce one of your own. Ever. I don't care if it's the only time in the next decade everyone will be together. You don't steal someone else's moment, and especially not the moment of a kid who's had a very rough year. Probably terrified that she wouldn't see another birthday and finally gets to have a celebration and a little normalcy. Your brother and sister-in-law deserve to be raked over the coals a few more times. And can the rest of society agree that the appropriate response to this sort of behaviour is, that's nice, but not now, and go back to celebrating the original thing? Cool, wouldn't that have been great to see if someone just turned around when she got up and said that and say, not right now. And Anna Stacey Yamina says, sister-in-law is a dick. Good that you keep your distance. I'm glad Myra's doing well. I've had family members with all types of cancers. It's rough. I hear you, Anna. I hear you. I'm there too. And Bush Elk says, not the arsehole. Your daughter deserved a moment. She's a child and an adult took her limelight. And Jeans Are Formal Wear says, not the arsehole. Even if your daughter had not been through a health crisis, announcing something like that on a birthday party is still insensitive and incredibly rude. They couldn't even bother to wait until the end of the party. Now, what would you do in this situation? If you was that daughter's parents, would you call her out right there on the spot? Would you call her afterwards, or would you just let it slide? Let us know in the comments below. And our next story is from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for telling my aunt I'm not going to follow her relationship advice because she's a quadruple divorcee? I'm currently single, but for some reason my aunt has decided I need to follow advice on how to keep a man. I'm not sure why she focused on my dating life, but it's her favourite topic of conversation. Regardless of how often she's told to stop or change the subject, she still insists on giving me advice. Her advice is bad, like I'm certain some of it borders on abuse. For example, she told me to not let my future boyfriend be friends with other women, not let him go out alone unless it's to work, make him pay for everything, make a list of relationship rules for him to follow. These are just the ones that stood out as awful to me, and they must be wrong because my aunt has now been divorced 4 times. It's always her ex who initiates the divorce, but all she ever says about the divorce is that her ex are weak men who don't understand how to sustain a healthy relationship with a mature woman. She stopped by today and within 30 minutes started dishing out her advice to me again. She'd been asked to stop twice at this point, but was still mid-rant. I couldn't take it anymore, so I loudly said, why would I follow the relationship advice of someone who's been divorced 4 times by the age of 50? She stared at me and then went mental, like crying while shouting about how I was rude, cruel, arrogant, and I should be grateful someone was willing to help me get a relationship after being single for so long. I'm 18, I'm happy being single right now. She left shortly after this. Mum's telling me bringing up my aunt's divorces was unnecessary low blow and I should have just ignored her because she had good intentions. Dad said she had it coming and hasn't mentioned it again. I'm starting to have second thoughts about how I handled it because she is sensitive about her divorces and being single again at her age, but I couldn't think of another way to get her to stop. So, am I the arsehole? First thing she said though, single for so long, you're 18. How many boyfriends has she expected you to have at the age of 18? I mean, maybe it's just me. I didn't have many girlfriends growing in my teenage years, to be fair. All I wanted to do was hang out with mates and play computer, and that was pretty much my teenage years. Did have a couple of girlfriends, mind you, but I didn't go out like looking for tons like this person's trying to push on the other one. I mean, come on, man. And it sounds like you told her multiple times to just stop and please keep her advice to herself, which she didn't do. And in the end, what else are you meant to do apart from call this person out? Your dad was totally right in this situation, and I think you did the right thing. But Desert to Rainforest says not the arsehole, your dad is right, she did have it coming. You asked her to stop and she didn't. Also, not a shocker that she's been divorced 4 times. She sounds awful. Oh yeah, and let's not forget her advice. Wow. T-Gunner192 says not the arsehole. Refusing to take relationship advice from someone who's been divorced 4 times seems pretty logical to me. And quotes, mum's telling me bringing up my aunt's divorce was unnecessary. If your mum knows a different way to get your aunt to shut up about relationships, I'm curious as to what it would be. And Curious Belgian says, not the arsehole, your dad is right. Next time she does it, just walk out the room. Out of the house if necessary. And quotes, being single for so long. At 18? Christ. Demon C says, not the arsehole, you're 18 and she's harping on you about being single. Yikes. Solid Upstairs says, not the arsehole, no wonder she's been divorced 4 times. Nobody wants to put up with her BS. And absolutely too true. Who'd want to be dealing with that, man? Anyway, I'm going to turn it to you guys. What would you do in this situation? Do you think OP was right to turn around and just call her out there and then? Or do you think there was a better way to deal with things? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you have been enjoying the stories recently. I've been absolutely loving your comments and you being involved. And please don't forget to tell me what you are doing whilst you're listening to these stories. It really, really does make my day. All the different places, all the different countries too. It's absolutely incredible. I love it. And someone in the comments today said, you sound much happier than you did in your old videos. And I had to go back and listen to my really old videos from the Daddy Cringe days. And I listened to one of them and god damn, man, I do sound totally different, don't I? But I'm going to say, this is all down to you guys. You guys are making this happen. You guys are doing this for me and you guys are carrying me to different places. So I really appreciate that of you. Thank you so much for what you're doing for me. And, if I do give anything back to you, that's more than I can ask for. I love it. I love hearing that it does change some of your days and helps you get through days. It's more than I can ask for, honestly. Anyway, I'm waffling again. Thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love to you.